I am back with the predictions after skipping the month of July just because I was really busy. But honestly, I wanted to do an updated kind of Oscar predictions, especially before I see Oppenheimer and Barbie, because, I just thought it'd be fun. Once I see it, then the mystery is off, so that's not as fun. As always, links are in the description if you want to follow me on there. And just a heads up, I will be going to TIFF this year. All things good. I was accepted for press. Thank you very much. That's a shout out to you all here. So I will be going to TIFF again. I will talk about that at a later time, but that is just a heads up. So thank you very much. I appreciate you all. That's a kiss for you. Start with Best Picture. Okay, so I still have Past Lives at #1, and it's #1 kind of softly because I can see a path for Killers of the Flower Moon, which I have it too. Now, I've kind of said that Killers of the Flower Moon might be like The Irishman or The Fabelmans. However, not in a sense where I think they'll be, get a lot of nominations but not win anything. That's not even necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of talking about the early front runner that eventually doesn't win Best Picture. That's more so what I'm talking about. But Killers of the Flower Moon does have an enticing kind of premise. There is a reason to vote for it. It is still Scorsese. It feels like it is big enough. It would get a lot of nominations. Where Past Lives, still, it feels small. I'm not sure what the nomination ceiling of it could be, but for July, which who cares in July? I'm still riding with the passion pick because even though Killers of the Flower Moon is very well received, it doesn't really have the passion as of now. Not that many people have seen it, so whatever. But, I'm rocking with the passion pick at Past Lives. Still at #1, Killers at 2. Then I'm rocking with Dune Part 2 at #3. That second trailer just dropped, and I'm like, yo, some of the technical aspects just seems undeniable. It seems undeniable, and especially after how they did Denis Villeneuve in the first one, I think there will be some compelling cases here for it in Best Picture, but not enough to win. Especially if there is a third one where I think it was like a Variety article, I believe, or a Deadline, I think Variety, where they kind of tease that this is the second movie in a trilogy, which technically hasn't been confirmed outside of that source. But if it is just the second in a trilogy, which I know Villeneuve has hinted at, but nothing's ever been confirmed, it just once again goes to show that I think they'll just wait, which I always think is a mistake, but whatever, fair enough. 4's Oppenheimer comes out in a few days, or I guess a week or so. I don't know when everyone will see this, but I am someone where I am confident in Oppenheimer. I just believe it'll be good. I believe it'll have a lot of nominations. At least the ceiling of it seems to be large. So if I'm a believer in it, and Christopher Nolan has never won an Oscar, I don't know. I just think Oppenheimer could be that one. I'm confident in it. I don't think this movie will flop or anything like that, even if it does get blasted opening weekend by Barbie. Doesn't really matter. 5 is The Holdovers. I think this will be that crowd-pleasing hit that seems to hit every fall film festival. Hopefully, I can see it at TIFF, which I will go to. I don't know. I just hear the buzz on it is really good. And, Alexander Payne is back. He usually does pretty well with the Oscars. People seem to like him. Paul Giamatti, blah, blah, blah. Seems cool. 6 is The Color Purple. I am a little tempted to drop it lower, and that is solely off the trailer, which did not impress me at all outside of the performances, which seemed good. It is a lot less, I don't know, showy than I expected. To me, it will affect it more so in the director race than picture, but I still have it in. It's at #6. 7 is Saltburn. I'm just kind of starting to pick at whatever I can here because I've lost faith in some others, gained in whatever. So Saltburn, I just have at 7. Emerald Fennell, I heard is pretty good. It is a bit thrillery from what I hear, which makes me a little concerned, but whatever. 8, I have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I understand the people who are like, every time I believe in an animated movie, I get burned. Therefore, I will only put an animated feature. I get that 100%. I'll be honest, I'm not as a believer in it as other people are, but I will manifest it because Across the Spider-Verse is a 5-star movie to me, and I think it's incredible. The reviews are incredible. It's made a lot of money. The visual artistry should be rewarded. I think it's in for now. It's at #8. 9 is Anatomy of a Fall. I reserve the right for an international slot, especially one that just won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Now, a lot of people are pointing to the Zone of Interest, but from the words of people who have seen both at Cannes, they seem to be in agreement that Anatomy of a Fall is a bit more accessible. Now, that hasn't stopped people from still predicting the Zone of Interest over Anatomy of a Fall. I am just going to be that person to just go with the more, quote, accessible pick. Plus, it won the fucking Palme d'Or. So, like, what do you want me to do? 10 is Maestro. Now, this one, I don't really believe in, but I'm zagging, okay? A lot of people going this way. I'm going the other way. I think, one, test screenings, it matters a little bit, but Also not really. So I cannot base my whole deal off of, oh, it had like so-so test screenings, because they did reshoots and re-edits. So that bodes well. There's a lot of good producers on it, whatever. The main reason I have it at number 10, yeah, it's bait, which honestly does count for something, but still. I think people have gone too far the other way on Maestro. I have seen people predict Maestro for makeup, and that is it. I do not really believe that necessarily. Now that might not reflect in my predictions here, but I just think Maestro will do a little bit better for the predictions and the Oscars as of now. I don't think this is a makeup and everyone hates this movie and it's a flop and it's the Sun and it's gonna get panned. Like I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So I have it at 10 for that conventional bait slot. I would go with a lot of others, but just, bear with me. Okay, 11 through 20. Let's go through this a little quickly here. 11 is Barbie. I'm starting to wane on Barbie. I am someone who I want to love it. I think I will, and I wish all the best luck for Barbie, but I'm starting to not see the path for picture, but I do want to hold on. Therefore, it's at 11. 12 is a zone of interest. Once again, just going for that Cannes international slot, and especially if this does get director for Jonathan Glazer, which we'll discuss in a second, then that'll be in. 13 is Next Goal Wins. They announced it to be the world premiere at TIFF. Taika's back. I know people are down on him after Thor Love and Thunder. He literally won an Oscar several years ago for Jojo Rabbit, so it seems like a crowd-pleasing deal. I will take it seriously until proven otherwise, even if it gets mid-reviews. 14 is Air. Air is a good movie, just talking overall. I'm not talking about individual preferences. Overall, it's received as a good movie that people like. Therefore, if a bunch of fall festivals start slipping like we saw last year, Air just rises up because we at least know it's good. Therefore, it's at 14. 15 is Poor Things. Don't really believe in Poor Things as a picture player, but it looks really good to me. So, like, it could get some text. I don't really know. It's still Yorgos. I got to take it seriously. It's at 15. 16 is May December. Getting word that it's not really an Oscar-y deal, at least for picture play. But still, I don't want to take it off yet. That's just me. I don't want to take it off yet. 17 is The Killer. It is very weird how everyone sees a David Fincher movie titled The Killer, and everyone is always like, yeah, this is going to be awesome, but also it has no shot. I'm just putting it at 17. If it's a fucking masterpiece, what are you going to do? 18 is Strangers. Do I still believe in that? Not really, but whatever. I did this a few days ago. It's Searchlight's, pick, I guess. If Poor Things is as weird as I think it is, if Next Goal Wins really flops, Strangers is right there, I guess. 19, How Do You Live, Miyazaki. Just let me have it, okay? And 20 is The Bike Riders. I'm grasping at straws here at this point. Director, I still have Villeneuve at number 1 for Dune. And I honestly don't think it needs to win picture for it to still win director. Obviously, we've seen a lot of splits in the recent years. I don't know. I'm just holding the mic like this, like a scared child, because I don't really know what to do. 2 is Scorsese. I mean, if Killers does win Best Picture, I mean, Scorsese only has one, which is not a lot for someone like him, so that's not too bad. Celine Song for Past Lives. If I have it winning picture, you bet your ass I have her at least getting nominated here. And I do have Christopher Nolan in for Oppenheimer. And then 5 and 6 is that Cannes international slot. Right now I'm just going with Justine Triet, even though it doesn't seem like it is a very directory movie. Maybe it does make sense to have Glazer in, but just in my head, I was like, if I have Anatomy of a Fall in picture, I might as well have her in. I don't know, though. You can go either way. 7, Greta Gerwig, Barbie. If everything goes well with Barbie, can't say no. Emma Fennell, same deal. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, because he is Yorgos Lanthimos, and that movie does look pretty amazing. Don't lie. And then Blitz Bazawul, you can see it down there at number 10. Fell down. Best Actress, little tougher. I still have Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple to win. It is that type of role. I don't need to go that on about it. It's like, it is such a good role. It's such a good role. And it's fucking musical. Yes, I think that's still in. Sandra Hüller could be the critics' pick of this year, where everyone goes crazy for her and actually puts up a good fight for a winning slot. And honestly, I could see a winning just based off of everything I hear. I can't wait to see it. I'm really looking forward to it. But right now I have her at 2. Greta Lee, I just feel pretty safe with. I feel that's a safe choice. Therefore, she's at number 3. Jessica Lange for A Long Day's Journey into Night. If this does happen, I guess she's win competitive just based off what I hear. But just I don't really hear a lot about that movie, so I don't know. She's just at number 4. What do you want? And Annette Bening for Naiad. I can't tell if I'm too high on that movie or too low, or if other people are too low or whatever. But I have her in. Like, I don't know. Just why not? I don't really understand why not. 6, Emma Stone, Poor Things. I hear she's amazing. She's Emma Stone. She's literally the best. Natalie Portman for May December. That could happen. May December still feels like a very actory deal. So, you know, who knows about that. Teyana Taylor, it's feeling a little lost here, a little lost. But, you know, who knows? If everyone flops above, right there. Margot Robbie for Barbie, holding on by a thread, and then Kate Winslet for Lee. It's a war movie, so you got to take it seriously. Actor. Okay, listen up. I don't want to say that I was the first to put Cillian Murphy at number 1, but I think I was the first to put Cillian Murphy at number 1, at least out in the public YouTube space here. I had him at number 1 back when I did the early predictions earlier this year, and I still have him at number 1 now. He looks incredible. He looks incredible in Oppenheimer, and since I am a believer in Oppenheimer, and I do think it's going to be good, and I do think he's going to give an amazing performance that's not just some quiet, subtle thing, even though there will be a lot, I think he will go through all the emotions, and I have him at number 1. Thank you. 2 is Bradley Cooper in Maestro. He is caked up in makeup. It's a transformation. I think it's going to happen, even if Maestro is received as bland. Leonardo DiCaprio in Killers of the Flower Moon at number 3. Once again, I've said this before, I don't really understand why everyone is content with 1 Oscar for Leo, and the Academy is like, okay, fuck off now. I don't really get that, but I have to, you know, be real. That can happen, but if I hear it is like insanely good, which I've heard, now I don't like to believe this is blank's best performance in their career, but I have heard it multiple times for this one. I'm a little skeptical of that, but regardless, even if he is close to that good, he will get nominated. I have Paul Giamatti in for The Holdovers. It should have happened for Sideways. I have it here. If I believe in The Holdovers, then I believe in that too. And 5, I have a Coleman Domingo for Rustin, which I was never really a believer in for the movie. I've heard it's kind of mid. So once again, kind of going off the Maestro deal, but I have him in because the other people, I'm not exactly too sure. 6 is Kingsley Benadir for Bob Marley, which the trailer just came out. Looks incredibly mid, or it looks like a biopic. Looks like a biopic. He looks great, but I am a little weird. As of when I'm recording, there is still no word on an Oscar qualifying release date in December. They are really pushing that this is coming out in January 24. Don't know. So yeah, I got to wait and hear about that. If I don't think it's coming out, I will remove him, but he's at 6 for now. 7 is Barry Keoghan for Saltburn. I've heard he is incredible. And the lead is obviously, what am I talking about? I've heard he's awesome, so I'm going to keep him there. I've heard he's great. 8 is Matt Damon in Air. Once again, we know what he is. We know his Oscar clip. It's a good performance. It's solid. We know what he is. He is at number 8. 9 is T.O.U. in Past Lives. I know there's some talk of, will he be in supporting? I don't see that, but obviously I'll comply with whatever. But for now, I have him in Best Actor at number 9. And 10 is Anthony Hopkins because he's fucking Anthony Hopkins. Are you kidding? Supporting actress. Not knowing much about The Color Purple, I'm going to keep Danielle Brooks in, even though it is very tempting to obviously switch to Lily Gladstone now that people have seen her performance and say she is incredible. I'm going to keep Danielle Brooks in because if she does give the more Oscar-friendly performance, and people, you know what I mean when I say that, if she is a singing and crying and just loud, I think a musical performance could take that award. But Lily Gladstone is obviously right there at number 2. I didn't want to be boring and just sandwich The Color Purple people together. So as for fun, I put Rosamund Pike in for Saltburn. I'll admit this is a little bit of a bias. She is like maybe my fiance's like favorite actress. So maybe that's just rubbing off, but I hear she's awesome in it also. But, you know, we hear good things about all these movies and performances pretty much all the time. So who knows about that, but I'll keep her in here. Obviously, we have another The Color Purple with Taraji P. Henson and Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, who I hear has a good role. I do have Viola Davis for Air just on the outside looking in. But once again, we know what Air is. We know she gives a good performance. She is just right there. All she has to do is just float up and it can happen. 7, Julianne Moore for May December. That seems a little low, but whatever. I'm going to keep her there, I guess. I heard she's good. She's a Julianne Moore. 8 is Lashana Lynch for Bob Marley. Same type of deal. Tilda Swinton, and then Vanessa Kirby in Napoleon. You notice that I did not have Joaquin Phoenix in Napoleon at Best Actor. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe it's not. I really don't know what to think about Napoleon either, so whatever. Supporting actor, I have Robert De Niro winning for Killers of the Flower Moon. It's just, he is the best option right now to me because I just don't feel great about an overly comedic performance winning the Oscar. Not that I don't want it. Not that I don't want it. Ryan Gosling, Ken Defender right here, okay? And he looks fucking hilarious, okay? So I would want it to happen, but I'm just a little scarred from comedic performances winning the Oscar, let alone being nominated. Obviously, it's not a guarantee at all, but I have De Niro at number 1 for now. Ryan Gosling at 2. I do have John Majaro for Past Lives at 3, who oddly feels safe, even though I'll admit, I think people feel a little too safe with him. I can just see him kind of being forgotten, unfortunately. I hope it doesn't happen, though. He's incredible. Charles Melton for May, December. And I have Mark Ruffalo in for Poor Things. I honestly don't even remember that. But sure, Mark Ruffalo in for Poor Things. Am I like grasping at straws here for supporting actor? That seems weird. I guess I am. Whatever. 6 is Ben Affleck in Air. I don't know. I oddly see it. I can just see it. That's just what I'll say. I can oddly see it. He is hilarious in Air. I honestly think he's fucking hilarious. I can see the actors branch as being like, yeah, we actually like this performance a lot. And who knows how this lineup will shape out at the end of the year. Maybe it ends up being the most stacked category, or maybe it ends up being what Best Actor was last year, where a lot of people fell off. Then I have Coleman Domingo in The Color Purple, and Jeremy Pope, Jacob Elordi for Saltburn, and, Oscar nominee Paul Mescal for Strangers. Can't tell me it can't happen. All right, screenplay. Let's move a little faster now. I still have Past Lives at 1. I think this almost feels done. I'll admit, unless The Holdovers is a fucking masterpiece, Past Lives for original screenplay, that already seems like a done deal. Anatomy of a Fall, Saltburn, Air rounds out the top 5 with Maestro, May, December, Asteroid City kind of on the outside looking in. We'll see, but I feel Past Lives is pretty set right now. Adapted screenplay, Killers of the Flower Moon at 1. That also feels pretty good, but once again, we'll have to see. I have Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2, which got nominated for the first one, so I fully expect this one to get nominated also. Depending on how much of a war action-y movie it is, then we'll see, because the first one had a lot of exposition, had a lot of world building, so we'll see. Barbie, if it is adapted, because there is some questions about that, I'll have it in here, even though that is also starting to feel a little weird. But and then Spider-Verse rounds out the top 5, especially if I have it in picture, like I'm going to put it in screenplay. The Color Purple, it's a musical. They struggle to get in unless you're a fucking beast like La La Land. Poor Things, The Zone of Interest, How Do You Live for its last session? I don't know. Cinematography, I was so sure that I was going to have Oppenheimer at number 1, and then that second Dune trailer came out, and it looks undeniable. It looks undeniable, so I'm going to predict it at number 1 because it looks that good. I cannot believe how visually stunning that movie looks just based off the trailer. It looks undeniable, so I'm going to put at 1, even though I really wasn't planning to, because Oppenheimer also looks great. How they captured the blast, the black and white elements in it. It's going to be a good race, hopefully. Killer's there. I have Maestro in, kind of that same black and white deal. And Poor Things, because the trailer also. I'm really basing a lot of stuff off the trailer. The Zone of Interest, apparently. The Killer, I think, could happen. I think Past Lives is shot really well. And then, Barbie, Asteroid City, Wes Anderson, Costume design, Lock It Up. Barbie feels like a done deal. People will be fucking pissed if Barbie doesn't win costume design, including myself, at least as what I've seen here. Killers, that just seems like it'll happen. Dune, first one got nominated. I think that'll happen. Wonka, I'm a Wonka believer. I'm gonna throw it in something. It seems like a lone costume nomination, maybe, so I'm gonna have it there. And then The Color Purple with Napoleon and Chevalier on the outside looking in. Shout out to The Hunger Games, just because it's The Hunger Games. Editing, no spoiler for sound, but Dune, I have it number 1. Oppenheimer also feels good. Killers, I just think it'll happen. The Holdovers also feels like it'll happen. And I just have to have Past Lives in there somewhere. So I do have The Color Purple out. We'll see. I know West Side Story, which is unbelievable that missed editing looking back on it. But, I guess we'll have to see about that. And then I have a bunch of other ones. And makeup and hair, Maestro seems like a done deal also. We've seen the pictures. It looks fucking incredible. Dune, the first one got nominated. Guardians of the Galaxy, really good makeup in that movie. Regardless of what you think, really good makeup. I have Barbie because I'm going off the hair. And then I will go with the heavy prosthetics of A Different Man with Sebastian Stan in that crazy ass picture. I still have Oppenheimer at 6. They will kind of age him up through it, so I don't know how subtle that'll be, but whatever. Wonka. Hunger Games, Bob Marley fits there, and shout out Priscilla also, who makes its first appearance here. Production design, Barbie, please, dear God, it looks fucking incredible. Barbie at number 1 also. Oppenheimer at 2, Dune, Killers, and The Color Purple. Poor Things should probably be in there, but you never know with how weird it is. That's what I'm going off of. Asteroid City, I mean, Wes Anderson production design is always incredible, so I would not complain about that, even though I don't really care for the movie. Shout out Wonka again, and then obviously the Napoleon Chevalier types. But yeah. Sound, once again, Dune and Oppenheimer are just kind of going back and forth with the text, with Dune kind of kicking its ass a little bit. The Color Purple is a musical, sorry. I do have Across the Spider-Verse, which I don't know how much of a, could that complaint about the sound mixing and some aspects of it will hinder it. I don't think it should, but I'm going to have it at 4. You never know. And then I just have Killers because I think Killers will be nominated the fuck out of. Shout out John Wick down there. I mean, goddamn, wouldn't that be fucking awesome? Visual effects, lock it up. It's done. Dune Part 2 wins. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Actual good visual effects from the MCU. Thank you very much. Across the Spider-Verse. If I have it in a picture, I got to put it in more things than just animated, so I have it in visual effects. I hope it happens. I have The Creator in, which looks like a pretty cool movie. I'm kind of excited for that low-key. And 5, if Dungeons & Dragons makes the long list, I feel like it's that random movie that makes it, like a Loved Monsters or whatever. It just feels like that type of deal. 6, I have Oppenheimer, but I keep hearing word of how little, VFX and CGI were used, so I don't know how that'll be, but then you get to Spaceman, Rebel Moon, Indiana Jones, if people do like the de-aging thing, which, take your pick, and Little Mermaid, whatever. Original score, I had Dune Part 2 not at number 1 because I thought it was going to sound way too similar to the first one. New trailer kind of makes me want to change my mind, but I do have Across the Spider-Verse actually winning. I think it's the best score of the year so far. It is the most interesting, the most dynamic. I think it's incredible. I have Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson, Oscar winner already. I think the score is awesome from what I hear about it already. Past Lives, I think this is like that Minari, Everything Everywhere. I'm realizing I'm just referencing 2 Asian movies, but you know what I mean. The Past Lives score is awesome. Like that last scene, if you can hear the score, outside of people crying their eyes out, it's awesome. And then I have Killers of the Flower Moon. Barbie, Desplat is very weird right now, so I don't know how to do with that. Elemental has a really good score. I need to remove Indiana Jones, but it's still John Williams, so actually you never know. And The Killer with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Original song, I really don't something from Barbie, something from Wonka. One of the songs from Across the Spider-Verse, a song from Wish, and then I have Diane Warren. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is Peaches by Jack Black. Animated feature, Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, How Do You Live will have to be just... It'll have to be like Spirited Away type shit to take it away from Across the Spider-Verse. So I think it's Across the Spider-Verse has got it locked up, though. I really do. But I have those 2. I haven't said it publicly, but I have been on the train that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is going to be really good. I have no reason to believe that it's not. I've heard it actually is really good, and it looks good too. So I have that at 3. Chicken Run, they always get in usually, so I'm going to have it there. And then I have Wish at number 5, even though Wish doesn't look I'm not as high on it as other people are, but it's there. Nimona, which I still have to see. I've heard that's pretty good. Elemental is honestly picking up steam at the box office as of now. Its holds are really good, and audiences enjoy it for who watches it, so you never know. And then, Super Mario Bros., whatever. Best documentary, Beyond Utopia, is that good that there's no other nominees. And now, obviously, I could put a bunch up. I could put the Michael J. Fox one. I just watched the Steph Curry documentary. Shout out to all my NBA fans. But it's to the point where I just still don't feel comfortable putting all these documentaries there, even though I could. Call it laziness. Probably is. But I do hear Beyond Utopia is the one to beat. International feature, I'm having Anatomy of a Fall number 1. Obviously, if I have it in a picture, and the only one in picture, I'm going to have it in there. The Zone of Interest, How Do You Live, or Monster, technically, if they pick it, and El Conde. And those are the main ones that I feel comfortable putting out there. I know there's La Quimera also. There's going to be a lot of international movies that, get designated, which is kind of what I'm waiting for, but... the big hitters already. And that's my Oscar predictions. Obviously, let me know what you all think down in the comments. I will be going to TIFF, as I mentioned. We are low-key coming up on the fall season already, even though where I am in Arizona, it is about 117 degrees out. I hate my life. I will see you all in the next time. Don't know when. Stay hydrated out there, though. Stay hydrated.